Hi everybody, this is a help video going over multi-step percent problems. So this goes over some of the information that we covered in whole group on 1020, and this will help you especially with that Unit 3 Lesson 2 quiz. So first, let's go over some of those basic steps for solving multi-step percent problems. Your first step is going to be converting percents to decimals, and we do that by moving the decimal point to the left 2 spaces. Our second step is multiplying that rate, so the decimal that you just converted, by the initial amount of the problem. Then our third step, we're going to either add or subtract the answer from that multiplication problem to the initial amount. And this is usually the step that trips most people up. So how do we know when to add and how do we know when to subtract? So we know that we are going to add when we are finding something like tax or markup or tip, etc. So anything that would increase your total amount means that you're going to be adding that onto it. Now you're going to subtract when it's a discount or a sale or anything else that would decrease your total amount. Your last step is going to be to check the answer to see if it's reasonable, and we're going to go over how to do that together. So here's our first problem, breaking down a word problem with taxes. So Paul wants to buy a shirt for $10. The tax rate in his city is 5%. How much will Paul's shirt cost rounded up to the nearest cent? My first step is converting that percent to a decimal. So this converts to 0.05. My second step was to multiply that converted rate by the initial amount. So I have my 0.05. I'm going to multiply that by 10. And remember, you can use a calculator for this step if you need to. 10 times 0.05 is 0.5. Now we have this number here, and let's analyze what that number means. Since we multiplied the rate times the amount of the shirt, this number right here signifies the amount of tax that needs to be paid on a $10 shirt. So again, when the tax rate is 5% and the shirt is $10, the amount of tax is going to be 50 cents because 0.05 times 10 is 0.5, which relates to 50 cents. So now we need to analyze, are we going to add this to our $10 or subtract from our $10? Well, this is tax rate, and tax rate is something that is added on to your total. So we're going to add. Tax always increases our total amount. So we have 10. We are going to add our 0.50. So our $10 shirt, and we're adding on 50 cents, in total will equal $10.50. So to answer the question, with a tax rate of 5% and Paul buying a $10 shirt, how much will Paul's shirt cost rounded up to the nearest cent? It will cost $10.50. I'm going to leave this screen up for a second if you want to take a screenshot, or you can pause. All right, now how about discount? So when we're dealing with discount, that means that our end price, whatever it is, should be less than our initial price, which tells us that we are going to be subtracting at some point in this problem. So what is the sales price after the discount on these items? We're looking at a 40% discount on a $40 toy train. So again, our first step is converting this percentage into a decimal. We just do that by moving that decimal point 2 spaces. Our second step is multiplying that converted rate by our initial amount, which is 40. 40 times 0.04 So after multiplying 40 times 0.4, we get a number of 16. Now, what does this number 16 represent? 16 in this problem represents the amount that is discounted off of the original price. So the toy was originally $40, and we are going to take $16 off of that price to find the total. Now, if we want to take something off, the operation that we use is subtraction. So I'm going to use 40 minus 16 to give us 24. This new and final number represents the amount that the toy costs after a 40% decrease or discount. And let's analyze if this is a reasonable answer. So if a toy costs $40 and we're taking 40% off, obviously the new number should be less than 40. And since our number is less than 40, we can assume that this is a reasonable number. So I'll go over the steps for this one more time. First step, we take that percent of 40 and we're converting it to a decimal. Then we multiply that decimal by the original amount, which is $40. That gave us the amount to discount by. And since it was a discount, we know that we were going to subtract in this next step. So we subtracted that discounted amount from the initial amount to give us our final amount of $24. Now let's look at tips. Rosie ordered dessert at the cafe. The total bill is $50. She tips the waiter 10%. How much money does the waiter get? All right, so let's look at this one, and I'm going to try to move this bar so we can see the question still. All right, so first thing, of course, we take that percent and we are going to convert that to a decimal. 10% equals 0.1. That's our converted rate in decimal form. The total bill was $50. We are going to multiply our bill of 50 times 0.1. And when we multiply, we will see that that equals 5.0. What does that represent? Well, we were calculating the tip. So that means on $50 bill, if we're tipping 10%, the tip is $5. So let's see if that answers our question. How much money does the waiter get? So in this case, our answer is just $5. Now, this question was a little different than the ones that we saw before because we did not end up adding this $5 onto the total bill. Why is that? Well, if they were to ask us how much did Rosie spend in total, then the answer would have been her bill amount plus the tip amount. So Rosie in total would have spent $55 total. Again, the amount of the bill and the amount of the tip. But the question asked, how much money does the waiter get? The waiter gets the amount of the tip, which was $5. And last one, we're going to talk about coupons and tax. So this word problem's a little bit different because we're going to bring together all of the things that we solved, and it's going to be in one big word problem. So there's quite a bit to break down here. The Smith family orders pizza for dinner. They order 3 pizzas at $15 each. They have a coupon for $10 off the total. Tax is 7%. What is the total cost for the pizza? The tax should be calculated after the coupon. All right, so we have a lot to break down here. I'm going to go ahead and work through each sentence of this word problem and identify things that we might need to change or things that we might need in the future. So we know that they're ordering pizza for dinner. They order 3 pizzas at $15 each. How much total are they spending on pizzas? Well, we know that 15 times 3 equals 45. So they are spending $45 on pizza. They have a coupon for 10% off the total. All right, I'm going to convert that rate. 10% equals 0.1. And since this is off the total, I know that I'm going to be subtracting that at some point. And then we have tax is 7%. Convert again that percent to a decimal. And because that's tax, I know that that is going to need to be added at some point in our problem. All right, now I have broken down each part of the word problem and I can start solving. So they did tell me that the tax should be calculated after the coupon. So we'll solve for the coupon first. My pizzas came to $45. The Smith family has a coupon for 10% off. That means I'm going to multiply my 45 by the rate, which we just changed over to a decimal. So $45 times our rate of 10%, multiply, bring in my decimal points. So this tells me that the coupon took off $4.50. So here's where my little subtraction sign comes into play. Off of my total of $45, I can subtract $4.50. So once that coupon is applied, taking 10% off, I am left with $40.50 left to pay for my pizza. So that was a nice little coupon, took off $4.50, but I'm not quite done yet. So I found the price of the pizzas after the coupon. My next step is finding the tax. So I'm going to take the new price of my pizzas after the coupon, $40.50, and I'm going to multiply that by my tax rate, which is 0.07. And we're going to go ahead and solve that. $40.50 times our tax rate of 0.07 gives us 2.835. And since we're dealing with money, we will go ahead and round that up to 2.86. Okay, so what is this 2.86 number? What does that represent? That represents the amount of tax on this bill of $40.50. So when we're dealing with tax, tax is something that needs to be added onto the total. So I take my total, $40.50. I'm going to add my tax, $2.86. And let's go ahead and add it up. 6, 13, carry the 1, 3, 4. So at the end of it all, we are spending, or the Smith family is spending, $43.36. Again, we had 3 pizzas at $15 each. That's $45 for pizza. We took off over here that 10% coupon, which took off $4.50 from the price. That left us with a subtotal of $40.50. From there, we calculated the tax. We converted our 7% tax to 0.07 and multiplied. That gave us $2.86, which we added to our subtotal, our discounted subtotal, to give us a final amount of $43.36. So this is an example of using multi-step percent. So we were able to find coupon and tax, and we found the amount that they spent on the pizza. And then some of your questions might look a little bit easier, like the ones before, just one step, taking off the discount or finding tax. when you're doing these problems, really make sure that you're paying attention to what the question is asking for. Okay, so sometimes they may ask for the total, like in this question. Sometimes they may just have asked for the discounted price or the amount that was discounted off or the amount of tax. So when you're working through these word problems, really read the question, pay attention, underline if you need to, highlight anything that helps you. As always, feel free to email me if you have anything, and make sure that you watch this video again if you still need some more support before you take that 302 quiz. Thank you.